2024 Broadway musical. Let's get right to it. What's going on, Alamo City Movie Talk fans? As always, I am your host, Ryan Deep, aka Ryan680.
I'm Angela Cody.
And this Alamo City Movie Talk, guys, thank you for making us a part of your day. And if you have not already, if you are new to the channel, be sure to like and subscribe to us on our Alamo City Movie Talk page, where we talk everything movie related here in this Movie Talk studio. Let's get right to it. There's no need for any introductory. I'm not going to say what this movie's about because there should not be. If you are clicking on this, you obviously have seen the previous one before this one, the original and everything. But let's get right to it. Angela, what film are we talking about today?
So we are talking about a remastered, reimagined cult classic.
Yeah.
We are talking about Mean Girls today.
Yeah, Mean Girls, guys. So we'll leave it at that. There obviously, once again, there's no introduction here. Angela, you know, we both are huge fans of this cult classic. It's becoming, right? I mean, if it's not already, it is in a way. You know, there's a huge following for this, right? With the Mean Girls, you know, just this is so fetch, you know, just the sayings alone. And I think it was way ahead. It was one of the things to where like it didn't really progress. Like it was one of those films to where it stayed up top. It stayed like it was floating around when it first came out, and then more people started watching it. It was one of those movies to where like it was getting better when it was ending its runtime in the theaters, and then also when it reached Blu-ray DVD around that time. And so it definitely is a cult classic and everything. And so
and I feel like it's definitely like for our generation, like it's definitely Gen X and millennials. Like we grew up with that movie. Yeah. Even if you didn't like it, you knew that movie. You knew the quotes from that movie.
Yeah, you did.
And so I just feel like it was such of a revamped, reimagined version, based more on the Broadway musical, which we will say we haven't seen. Our friend Kristen from Nerd Coliseum has, so we are definitely going to refer to that on the comparison there. But so we are just basing this off of our knowledge of the 2004 film. You know, obviously it had Lindsay Lohan, it had Rachel McAdams, which I still can't believe that's Regina George. Right? And so it was great. So like that, the whole, like, it was such an iconic film. So I was definitely a little bit apprehensive going into this because I wasn't sure. One, I've never seen the musical, so I wasn't sure what kind of songs there would be. I love musicals, but I was still a little bit unsure of like how they were going to incorporate songs in here. But also, I was just worried that it wouldn't have that same magic, that same sparkle, if you will, of the first original film. So definitely, I was a little bit apprehensive about that. But I will say, I loved the songs in this film, and it just makes me want to see the Broadway musical actually in person, or be able to see a performance of that, because I think the songs were done so well. Granted, that was really some of the only thing I liked about that movie was the songs and like the choreographs during the number of sequences and everything. That was really the only thing I did enjoy. I will say, though, it's definitely tailored to this generation. So I know the older version was tailored to like older generation, or that generation at the time. This is definitely like Gen Z all the way for these kids. Yeah,
you know, I'm gonna go on a little rant here. I'm just like, okay, so I'm gonna give credit when it's due, right? I am. I'm a moviegoer, and you know, I gotta go on my little rant here. Okay, so guys, bear with me. Here it comes. Let's bring it on the filthy. Here it comes. So first and foremost, I do want to commend the musical artists in here. Every single one that sang, every single one that I thought the music was really good. I really enjoyed it. There's a lot of musical numbers in here I really enjoyed. Right, leave it at that. Everyone did a really good job when it comes down to the music part. The choreograph, I don't know about the dance. Some of the dance was a little out of the ordinary, but maybe that's the generation. Because obviously, we got to give credit when it's due. And the fact is that it sucks. But this movie, I don't think it was made for us in that particular way, because I think this was for the new generation coming in. So regardless, take that with a grain of salt. Whatever. Okay, fine, deal. But at the same time, though, you know, the dialogue was just garbage. There's so many moments in this movie where you're just like, what the fuck? Like it just the jokes are just not there. The jokes are just terrible. I mean, the dialogue and the music numbers too. The two directors in here, Samantha and Arturo. Okay. The problem that we've always had, we always talk about this in the Movie Talk studio. Again, this is a movie. This is a Broadway, originally was a Broadway musical, but we're talking about the movie version of this. And we had the same problem with Dear Evan Hansen and all that stuff. But Dear Evan Hansen had its own small little problems, but it wasn't as big as what people said. Oh, the Broadway musical was better. It's better.
People were hating on Ben Platt.
Hating on Ben Platt. But again, though, it goes back to the age thing, which is whatever. I don't care. I don't care about that. If you do a grid performance, but he has to pretend to be in high school, whatever. Okay, fine. Whatever. Argument. Okay, get it. Fine, whatever. But the fact is that Samantha and Arturo, I feel like they were both directing in two different ways. And we kind of saw that on camera a little bit. I saw that a lot more so on the fact is that, like, I feel like this movie was like directed so poorly. Even though we had two directors, like, it's just like, I feel like they were trying to do a little bit like, hey, let's try this here, let's try that. Like, I don't know. I just feel like this was an unorganized directed side of a movie. But again, take that with a grain of salt. Okay, Ryan, what are you guys talking about? Okay, let's talk about it. I'm gonna tell you right now. This isn't a spoiler because we know it's a musical. The musical numbers that they really put on here. When we put on here, okay, when we're talking, it just jumps into a musical. It's still transitioned from dialogue to musical. One of the Greatest Showman actually did a very effing fantastic job establishing when they're talking and then transitioning to musical numbers, and they did a fantastic job with that. Musicals have done that. We get it. Into the Heights did a great job as well. You know, it's just, you know, when a musical is gonna happen, you kind of get the little soft music that's coming in, right? That's coming in and kind of whatever. Okay, this didn't do that. Just boom.
No, it did. It did. I saw it coming already.
No, but some ways you were just like, what the okay, but
I think it's just because we didn't expect songs to be put in certain places. Which again, it's not like the movie's fault. Yeah. It's just that's how these are songs from the musical.
But this Broadway. Is a movie, regardless. Though this is a movie, you have to rate it as a movie. Yes, it's a Broadway musical. Yes,
I'm not rating it. But I think it's just because, again, we know the original so much.
Yeah.
That we don't expect songs to be put in certain places. So I know you're saying like, oh, they just jumped into a song. Like, it's because we don't expect it, because we're not grading it on the musical. We're grading it on, I know this from X amount of years ago. Yeah. I'm very familiar with this film. I could quote that whole film.
No. See, that's the thing too. I already knew this was going to be a musical behind. That's fine, whatever. But the fact is that I'm rating it differently because it is a musical. Yes, I'm rating it because it's Mean Girls, but I'm rating it as a musical should, regardless if it's a remake, if it's a if it's an original. It does not matter. In my critique, when I go down to see, when I know it's going to be musical, I expect to hit those certain notes as well, and I expect to hit just a certain way how it flows with the movie. And for me, it did not flow well.
I disagree.
When between dialogue and the dialogue too, the jokes were just, oh my god, I was just like, why?
I know they bothered you a lot. They didn't bother me. It's just it wasn't relatable to me because I'm not from that generation. You know, a lot of it was geared towards like TikTok, and they really put social media in this film, which at the time when the first one came out, it was all like gossip and word
I didn't have a problem with that. That made sense.
No, but it's just it's different though. Like they definitely changed it. They got several famous TikTok influencers to be part of this movie too, like in the TikToks and filming when the spreading gossip. It's not done, as it was before. It was through TikTok, so it was really cool to see that change. But it's definitely a different movie. A lot of the humor is geared towards like Gen Z, not something that I can totally relate to. It was funny, don't get me wrong, certain parts were funny. I still liked the actor and the actors and actresses, the cast. The whole cast was great, but it was definitely a different type of humor that I'm not used to, especially from the original film. And also, I know we were talking off camera, it felt like a lot of the dialogue was like half of that I couldn't relate to, but also half of it was like the forced classic quotes, like on Wednesdays we were
nothing felt like it flowed well. I just feel like they were just forced to say it in a way to where it just felt out of place. It really did. And I kind of feel like the film was. We go back to the directing. I just feel like this wasn't directed very well. It was very I don't. It's definitely missing that.
I think they did cut out. There's one quote that I love quoting. It's where in the original they're doing a three-way call, or Karen calls Regina. And she pretends to be sick, like, I'm sick, right? And Regina's
that's right.
Whore. Yeah, like, that's a classic quote, and I love it. But they didn't put it in this one.
Yeah.
So I feel like they did cut out certain things.
Well, they cut out a lot of things. They cut out so many jokes that are just so fantastic, that are just reach the boundaries of comedy. And I felt like they didn't exceed that at all. I mean,
well, it's a different time.
Yeah, I get it. Different time, different actors and actresses. And I got to admit, though, people are going to compare this to, of course, to the original, just like everyone should, right? Because it's the original. I mean, we're genuine, we're human, we're gonna try to compare, right, the two. But regardless, though, I mean, like I always say with musicals, what I always say with sequels, what I always say with remakes, is that doesn't matter, as long as there's always will be the original. If you hate the remake, just screw it, just watch the original all over again, So I'll leave it at that. This was actually written by screenplay by Tina Fey. See, I'm just like, Tina Fey's funnier than this. That's all I'm all like.
Well, I mean, to be fair, though, you can't stray too far from the original. Like, a lot of the quotes are.
Well, see, even her jokes, she made like 2 jokes, and I was just like,
but a lot of what she said was also originally in the original film. So I think, like I said, you can't stray too far from that, otherwise.
Well, she did say keep it PG-13, so I guess that's why, in a way, because her jokes are more rated R. I guess they're a little bit more.
She could, her and Amy Poehler are really great together. Which I missed Amy Poehler, but I love Busy Phillips. She was a great mom. She was a cool mom. But I really liked mostly the musical numbers, fantastic, and the cast I think did great, but I will say, aside from that, there was nothing that I really enjoyed. Like, the quotes didn't bother me. It was just okay. That's just my opinion. It's definitely different for me. So
let's talk about one particular characters I do want to recognize here. And so the one who played Karen, she actually is Avantikia. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that totally wrong, guys.
Avantika?
Avantika? Okay, yeah.
Maybe?
So Avantikia, she was actually in that Netflix film called with Senior Year with Fat Amy, but she's not Fat Amy, right? But
and she's also from The Sex Lives of College Girls, which is where main girl, Renee Rapp, she's from too.
Yeah.
I think Renee had more of a main role in this one, and then I think she had like a one episode kind of thing.
I did not like how they made Karen like that. Like, I felt like that it just, I don't know. I just we talked about off camera. I just felt like she was playing too dumb. If that makes any sense.
I didn't like that.
I thought that was just ridiculous.
Because original Karen too, she had she's still she was ditzy, sure, but she still had things like she had that. It's like 10 a.m. and it's
they didn't even do that.
Raining.
They didn't even do that.
So, she at least had redeeming quality. Like, you still felt like, oh, okay.
Okay. So here's the thing with Karen. In the original, right? Again, we're comparing it, right? So in the original, you kind of felt bad for her because she was, dumb. This one, it's just like, like what are you doing? Like, it's just like, I don't know. You can just tell it was overacting, if that makes any sense. Overdoing the dumb. If that makes any sense. But again, that's just acting, I guess. That's the direction of the director directing the actress in this particular way. So yeah, I'll give it to, I'll give credit when it's due, and I'll give acting when it's due as well. So I mean, I'll leave it at that. But one of the other characters I did want to recognize, of course, was, and we kind of noticed it halfway through the movie. Moana was in here. Moana herself. You know what? I gotta admit though, there was a song that she had, and I was just like, dude, she sounds like Moana.
She sounds so
and I
familiar.
couldn't recognize her again. It was a lot of makeup because with for me, whenever she performed on the again, that was the last time I saw her perform at the Moana the song at the Oscars. She didn't have that much makeup as she had now. And
well, she looks different. So yeah.
Oh,
so,
yeah. Well, yeah. It
because
was years ago, right?
She had the very more natural makeup, and she had the long.
This one, she had way
hair.
more eyeshadow, way more.
She had, like teenager makeup, and then like the short hair that's kind of dyed. Mm-hmm. So definitely different. But again, I still like. I was like, I know that face. I'm good with faces.
Yeah.
And then I think like halfway through, I think one of the songs I was like, so I couldn't wait. I kind of like looked it up in the theater. Sorry to people behind me, but I couldn't wait. And I was like, I knew it. That's Moana. That's my girl. She did fantastic as Janice. I think great too. Yeah. Damien. The guy who played Damien was so funny. Yeah. So I liked the cast. I didn't have a problem with the cast.
Yeah. The one I played Regina George, she was not bad. And again, we go back to this direction. We go back to the way this is their interpretation of Regina George and everything. But we go, Rachel McAdams. I just can't.
Rachel McAdams.
She is just fantastic. She's a fantastic actress and A+ star, and so
that whole original cast was just OG. Like they're great. And
they didn't even do Danny DeVito. I love your work. They didn't even do that. Yeah, they didn't even do that. What the dude?
Yeah, it was funny because they like.
I get not doing Danny DeVito. I get not doing that, but do something similar.
Well, it was funny because like in the original, when Damien is in the bathroom. And the girl comes out of the stall. She kind of looks at him weird, right? Or she makes a comment or something.
Yeah, and she's like, "This is the guy. This is the girl's restroom."
Yeah, and then that's when he's like, "Oh my god, Danny DeVito, that work." And so, but then this one, when he's in the restroom,
weird. That was weird. No one said anything. Yeah, exactly. So I thought that was weird.
Again, it's a different time.
I thought that was very weird.
They also like their building didn't burn down. Like it was a lot of differences, but again, it's not going to be exactly play-by-play.
No, I know, but that was weird because I was waiting for the girls to say, "You don't belong here," or like do some funny comedy. But no, there was nothing.
Or like they didn't
because it was a comedy. It was a joke. It was a joke whenever she's all
they also didn't have a Karen, not Karen, Gretchen make the apology. Remember, she makes the apology.
That's right.
And she like, "I'm so sorry, everyone's jealous of me," whatever.
Yeah, and then she fall, and then Karen just like they didn't do that either. Oh my god! See. All these it's funny too because even the jokes, like the hardcore jokes that are considered bad now, bad, right? I was very upset. They didn't have the
accusation of
we're not going to mention all the jokes here. Yeah. We're not going to because there's a lot of them.
Well, a lot of it's different. Like even in the burn book, some of the insults were so different.
They were weak. They were garbage. I was like, dude, what? That's an insult? Like, okay, whatever.
No, but so it's definitely different. Again, I think it's with the times. It's gonna be
that's not a burn generation. That's not a burn book. If it's different generation, how do they even know what burn is? Because burn's not it's our generation. It's not theirs. So and that's all I'm saying.
I really like the original where Rachel McAdams finally finds out those Caltine bars, what they're doing. She has like the fit, she's screaming.
Yeah, she has a BF.
In her like rage, she takes the revenge and does the burn book thing, right?
It's accurate.
But like on this one, it was like she screamed, I'm so frustrated in the moment, and then like she's cold and calculating, and then she like changes the burn book. So it was a lot different. I didn't really like it. Like again, I didn't like that. It's not like I didn't relate to it. Just I'm so used to the original.
Yeah.
But again, I can't speak enough that I love the music. It makes me want to watch the Broadway musical because I love the shows like that. And I really want to see this live performance. It would be great. Yeah. It would be spectacular. But again, as a movie, I'm not quite sure if it translated good enough for me.
Yeah.
I mean, for me.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. And I'm the same way too. I just let's talk about, was this a film we deserved?
I would say yes, because I always like to see new things, but also like musicals be brought to films because it can be done successfully. Like you said, Greatest Showman's great.
Yeah.
Les Mis is great. There's other ones too. I know Wicked's coming too. I have high hopes for that one.
Yeah, part one.
I know. I hate that.
December. Yeah. I'm telling you, because it's like a 4-hour. It's probably a 4-hour movie.
We have extended cuts of Lord of the Rings that are like almost 5 hours long. You can make a one movie of Wicked.
I'm just saying. Yeah.
People will see it.
It's probably a 4 or 5 hour movie. That's
people sat 3.5 hours to watch Endgame. They can see Wicked. So, anyways, but I will say I think it is a film we deserve. I would still give it a chance.
Okay. Yeah, no, I'm gonna say that as well. I'm always open for remakes. I'm for certain things, and I'll leave it at that. But with this one, but let's go to ratings then. Giselle. What do you give this rating? 1 out of 10, 10 being the highest. What do you give this rating?
So the music wasn't redeeming enough for me to give it a high score.
Yeah.
I still love the music, and this is why I only rated this score. I would give it a solid 6 because.
Oh wow!
Yeah, because again, only the music. I will listen to the soundtrack repeatedly because it was really good. Yeah, but that's really one of the only redeeming qualities aside from the cast that I really enjoyed. Unfortunately.
Okay. All right, guys. So my rating, I'm gonna give this a 4.5 out of 10. This is definitely, it's one of those movies to where maybe this is just like the Broadway musical. I don't know because we haven't seen it, but regardless, though, I kind of feel like that this being the way the movie is and everything, I feel like that this movie progressed in a way to where it just, for me, it wasn't just, I didn't have a fantastic great time with it. Again, we go back to, was the musical numbers really good? Yeah, I enjoyed some of them. I did. I enjoyed the certain high moments in this movie where the musical numbers were really blended okay, but at the same time I kind of felt like they were just misplaced, and I'll leave it at that. I just it sucks because I want every musical to be freaking amazing and to have that same moment and that same feeling as I did watching The Greatest Showman, watching movies like that, Into the Heights. I want to have that movie magic. And it sucks because sometimes you do get those movies that really didn't hit that number. I thought the same thing as well was that, especially with musicals, they have this emotional grasp where they have this emotional solo song, either the lead or something happens, right? Something catastrophe happens and all that. And they kind of do that, but it doesn't really hit that emotional level that I expect out of a musical, out of a sad song in a way, because there is a kind of sad song, not really, but it just doesn't hit the same number. Even Ben, what do you call it? Ben Platt, who freaking did Dear Evan Hansen. People had a problem with him because he was too old. Whatever. Okay,
oh my God.
He still got me sad in his voice in that song. He still was, he was good. I enjoyed him. I enjoyed his musical number, and everything. But yeah, I'll leave it at that. We, as a low rating though, it's kind of like, I don't know. Will we recommend it though?
I don't think everyone's gonna like it.
Yeah. This would not be a Alamo City Movie Talk recommends.
I would take it with a grain of salt because you got to see what. Like the Barbie movie. Not everyone's going to like the Barbie movie, right? Yeah. Oh, so it's not going to be everyone's cup of tea.
Not everyone's going to rank it number one.
I know, that's my number one. But again, I feel like this is the same. It's not going to be for everybody.
Yeah.
If you're more into the Marvel, DC, or all those movies.
Or Star Wars.
Maybe not Mean Girls for you.
Yeah.
But I feel like generally the public, if you love movies like that, if you love musicals, if you love like the Barbie movie, that's your niche. If you love teenager movies, great. You probably will have a fun time watching this. So it just depends on who the audience is for, I think.
Yep. No, I completely agree. If you love musicals and all that, I think you're gonna have a great time with this. But if you're coming from the movie side of Mean Girls, I'm all like, I don't know. If you love those beautiful jokes that are in Mean Girls, those fantastic jokes that just reach out the boundaries, you probably would not like this movie because you'll be you'll just be shocked at what is a joke now, considered a joke in a way. And again, though, we go back to where it's not the cuss words because they didn't really cuss. I mean, they cuss kind of not really in Mean Girls, but the jokes weren't even cussing though.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. That's also wait, you keep PG-13. It's wait, they didn't even say cuss. Like
I said, the most was boo, boo you whore, they say slut and a lot of stuff
whore,
that.
slut. Yeah, you can say that.
They're
you can say that.
Not curse words, but bad words. But you shouldn't be calling.
But now they say F word every 2 seconds in a movie, right? Whatever. Okay, that's the time we're in.
Movie, but
yeah. But I'll leave it at that. All right, guys. Thank you so much for making this a party day. Question is for you guys: did you enjoy this movie? Did you enjoy this musical film? Put on comments down below. Questions for you guys, and thank you for making us a part of your day. As always, I'm your host Ryan D. aka Ryan680.
I'm Angela, that Cady Heron.
And this Alamo City Movie Talk, guys. Thank you so much for making us a part of your day. Have a good one. See you at the theaters. Latest.